Ladies and gentlemen, this is John Dudley Speaks, and I'm here to tell you that Aftercare by Nessa Barrett is fun. Initially gaining traction from TikTok all the way back in 2019, Nessa Barrett became a massive name in the Gen Z pantheon during COVID-19, as her singles achieved astonishing popularity and virality, and started charting on the Billboard Hot 100, proving that this TikTok-driven model of success was no joke. And I also appreciate Nessa's outspoken commentary for mental health, advocating for therapy and dialogue around heavy subjects. It's admirable, and it's something that more artists should take a genuine interest in like she does. Am I a fan of Nessa's music? Not particularly. I feel like I only know of her because Rob from Love Island USA was in her music video for Passenger Princess, which is fair. I'm a 27-year-old white married man from PA. I don't think I'm exactly her target audience, but I've never held anything against her work. I mean, it's not like she's producing completely genreless, uninspired slop like Camila Cabello's record, or cringeworthy ripoffs of much better genre hybrids like Katy Perry's record. So really, there isn't anything to outright dislike. I'd actually venture to say that her first record, Young Forever, is oddly what I think Tate McRae is trying to do with her brand. But since Tate is chasing the Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift crowd, I feel like she's limited to fit particular buckets that Nessa doesn't exactly have to worry about. Does it mean less sales and touring spots for Nessa? Maybe. But does it mean that she has a bigger chance to play with creativity? Yeah, and that's honestly why I was so surprised and impressed by this latest record, Aftercare, an apocalyptically horny record that actually achieves everything it sets out to accomplish. The production on this record indulges heavily in dark pop hybrids that are evocative of early Halsey and FKA Twigs. And the producers here consist of people that have worked with Panic! At the Disco all the way to Doja Cat, as well as bedroom pop artists of the late 2010s like Bazzi. So with that in mind, you might think that that's the direction that this record might steer into, but instead we really get an amalgamations of styles across this record that thoughtfully speak to Nessa's tastes, and I thought that was refreshing. The biggest dark pop industrial leaning smash of the record is obviously the deeply sexualized, boisterously raucous cornstarch. No, of course I'm talking about PORNSTAR, which is an absolute banger. CJ Barron and Arthur Besna handle production here that rings off with a Yeezus-era siren that's quite complimentary to Nessa's vocal timbre. So yeah, I thought it was a hit. S.L.U.T, or Slut, felt like a punk EDM crossover smash that Jenny Humphrey would have played during one of her guerrilla Cruella de Vil fashion shows. And Rufus wouldn't have approved of the delivery, but he'd respect the sentiment. I wasn't really a fan of the hypnotic Melanie Martinez alt-pop of Baby Doll and Heartbeat, which were a little too infantilizing for my liking, and were definitely my least favorite instrumentals here because holy shit, I actually love the variations of this dingy sound she's playing with. The fade-style house of disco is playful and pulsing. Passenger Princess plays more into Japanese city pop aesthetics than modern top 40. And how is it that Russian Roulette adopts a Lana Del Rey Americana backdrop? Where people might have a problem with the writing is admittedly its subject matter and its overall bad girl energy, as it might be seen like it's doing too much or trying too hard. But I think Nessa kinda nailed it. It's not like you're going into this record thinking it'll be a dense treatise on heartbreak or some long-winded tour into anxiety and fame. Nessa's been honest about what this record is from the jump, and it's right there in the title: vulnerability and sexuality, connection in times of passion. I think she does a great job with the themes on that level, balancing the carnal knowledge aspects of S.L.U.T, PORNSTAR, and Mustang Baby, with nuanced takes about the flip side of where those desires can lead, both good and bad. Stay Alive in particular is an admirable depiction of how depression can push us to our breaking point, and I just love that this track is here. When it comes to her performance, there's a tinge of Arctic Monkeys flair as much as there is an influence of Billie Eilish and even Taylor Swift, but it still feels very much personal to the artist that we're listening to and not a photocopy of Styles. I like that she doesn't really try to modify her vocal delivery too often on the album, keeping the aesthetic alive through soft, spare vocals that allow this project to breathe. But when she dials up the sex appeal, it's a strong payoff that's earned because it doesn't come across as this forced, extravagant thing. I love Short and Sweet by Sabrina, but man, sometimes she can really force it. So it leaves you feeling like it was designed to be viral and doesn't come from a place that's genuine. And while maybe Nessa isn't dramatically tinkering with her range to seductively invite us in or belting it, she's still at one with the atmosphere of the album, rather than trying to overshadow it. Lastly, I'd say the track listing is a lot tighter than I expected, though it does trail off at times throughout its 45 minutes. But I mostly enjoyed how the pacing gives us time to ramp up to the risque material. That way we're not overloaded by it or desensitized to it. The final stretch does lose that sense of angst and adrenaline, but I also feel like that's on purpose as the reality of this facade starts to shed. Dirty Little Secret ends the project on a strong note, with a mellow synth-pop jam that provides enough ambiguity and steaminess to leave us wanting more. And I think that's the lesson to learn from this record. More is more and less is more. You just gotta find the right balance for it to work. I had fun with this. I really enjoyed this project. And I'm glad that I gave it a shot because it's easy to just expect that you're going to dislike something, and it's even easier to write it off if you just know it's not your thing. But that's the beauty of music, right? You never really know what your tastes are because they're constantly evolving. And I'm happy to take away a few of these tracks and add them in my rotation. But hey, that's just my perspective. If you're a Nessa Barrett fan, I'm sure you're super pumped about this one. And if you're seeking out a new era of impossibly hot pop jams, you gotta check this one out. Alright, that's all I got. Bye!